Every successful educational institution has one thing in common, not impressive building or advanced technology, but effective educational leadership. Yet, leadership is often misunderstood. Many people associate with authority, position, or administrative title. But what is that educational leadership truly means?
To answer this question, we interviewed Dr. Haryati Yaakob, who actively contributes to teaching, research, and faculty administration. Through her experience, we discovered that educational leadership goes far beyond managing classroom or implementing policies. It is about influencing people, making responsible decisions, embracing continuous improvement, and creating meaningful learning experience for every student. This documentary explores not only what educational leaders do, but also how this experience have inspired us to become future educational administrators who lead with purpose, integrity, and responsibility.
To better understand how educational leadership is practiced in higher education, our group interviewed Dr. Haryati Yaakob, a senior lecturer at University Sains Islam Malaysia.
Throughout her career, she has served on several faculty committees, including the Faculty Quality Committee, Faculty Welfare Committee, and Revenue Generation Committee. These responsibilities allow her to contribute not only to academic excellence, but also to institutional development. What impressed us most was that despite balancing multiple professional responsibilities with family commitments, she continues to pursue lifelong learning and educational innovation. Her journey demonstrates that leadership is not measured by titles, but by continuous commitment to learning, serving, and improving the educational community.
One of the strongest messages from our interview was that effective teaching begins long before entering the classroom. It requires careful planning, meaningful student engagement, and continuous evaluation of learning outcomes. Rather than relying on a single teaching method, Dr. Haryati adapts her instructional approach according to student learning needs. She incorporates interactive activities such as videos, song, and collaborative learning to encourage greater participation and improve understanding.
في عن على الباء اللام الكاف واو القسم.
However, what challenged our perspective was not simply the teaching strategy themselves, but the mindset behind them. Before this interview, many of us believed that successful teaching meant completing the syllabus on time. After listening to Dr. Haryati, we realized educational leadership is measured by how effectively students learn, not by how much content is delivered. We also learned that reflection plays an essential role in teaching. Student feedback, classroom observation, and continuous assessment are not merely evaluation tools. They provide valuable evidence that helps educators improve their professional practice. As future educational administrators, this experience reminds us that our responsibility extends beyond monitoring academic performance. We should create a learning culture where teachers are encouraged to innovate, reflect, and continuously improve their teaching for the benefit of every learner.
Our interview also transformed our understanding of educational administration. Initially, we assumed that administration mainly involved paperwork, meetings, and policy implementation. However, Dr. Haryati showed us that effective administration is actually about making decisions that directly improve students' learning experiences. She explained that educational administrators should never rely solely on assumptions. Instead, they must gather evidence through observations, student feedback, surveys, and research before making important decisions. This emphasis on evidence-based decision-making changed our perspective significantly. We realized that good administrators do not simply solve problems after they occur. They identify issues early, analyze available information, and develop strategic solutions that benefit the entire institution. Another important insight involved the responsible use of artificial intelligence. Dr. Haryati acknowledged that AI can improve productivity by generating ideas and supporting administrative work. Nevertheless, she emphasized that technology would never replace critical thinking, professional judgment, or ethical responsibility. We believe this is particularly relevant in today's educational environment, where digital technologies continue to reshape teaching and administration. As future educational administrators, we must learn to embrace technological innovation while ensuring that every decision remains guided by integrity, evidence, and human values. Ultimately, this interview taught us that effective administration is not separate from teaching. Instead, both work together to create an educational environment where students, educators, and institutions can achieve sustainable success.
However, educational leadership is not without challenges. Behind every successful educational leader lies a responsibility that is often unseen.
Behind every successful educational leader lies a responsibility that is often unseen. Throughout our interview, Dr. Haryati shared that balancing teaching, administration, research, and family responsibilities is one of the greatest challenges in her professional life. Every role demands time, commitment, and careful prioritization. What surprised us most was that leadership is not only about managing system, it is also about managing oneself. Educational leaders constantly face competing priorities, unexpected challenges, and difficult decisions that require both emotional resilience and professional judgment. We also realize that leadership involves working with people from different backgrounds, personalities, and perspectives. Making decisions is often challenging because leaders must balance organizational goals while maintaining positive relationships with colleagues and students. Before conducting this interview, we rarely consider the personal sacrifice behind educational leadership. We often associate leadership with authority and recognition, but this experience taught us that true leadership requires patience, adaptability, and the willingness to serve others even during challenging circumstances. As future educational administrators, we understand that effective leadership is not measured by how many responsibilities we carry, but by how wisely we manage them while maintaining professionalism, integrity, and empathy.
Rather than allowing challenges to limit her effectiveness, Dr. Haryati continuously seeks ways to improve her professional practice. One strategy she consistently applies is observation and reflective practice. Instead of assuming that every teaching method is effective, she carefully observes students' response and reflects on how lessons can be improved. She also values students' feedback because it provides meaningful insight into their learning experience. This demonstrates that effective leadership begins by listening before making decisions. Another strategy involves adapting successful ideas from different educational contexts. Rather than following fixed methods, she modified approach according to student background, learning preference, and current educational needs. The responsible use of artificial intelligence also form part of her professional practice. AI assists in generating ideas and improving productivity, yet every piece of information must be evaluated critically and supported by reliable academic sources. These strategies challenge our previous assumption about leadership. We realize that successful educational leaders do not claim to know everything. Instead, they continuously observe, learn, reflect, and adapt. As future educational administrators, we believe continuous improvement should become part of our leadership philosophy because educational excellence is achieved through lifelong learning rather than routine practice.
This interview has fundamentally changed the way we understand educational leadership. Initially, we believed that leadership mainly referred to managing people.
And ensuring organizational tasks were complete. However, our conversation with Dr. Haryati revealed that leadership is fundamentally about influencing positive change through responsible decision-making, continuous improvement, and genuine concern for student development. One of the most valuable lessons we learn is that effective leadership begins with self-leadership. Before guiding others, educational leaders must first demonstrate discipline, accountability, integrity, and a willingness to continuously improve themselves. We also realize that leadership cannot succeed without effective communication and collaboration. Educational administrators must create an environment
where teachers, students, and stakeholders feel respect, listened to, and support. Perhaps the greatest lesson from this interview is that educational leadership is a journey rather than a destination. Every challenge presents an opportunity to learn. Every decision requires thoughtful consideration, and every experience contributes to personal and professional growth. As a future educational administrator, we aspire to become leaders who are not only competent in managing educational institutions, but also committed to building learning communities where every individual has the opportunity to succeed.
From an Islamic perspective, leadership is not a privilege but an amanah entrusted by Allah.
The Prophet Muhammad SAW said, "Each of you is a shepherd and each of you is responsible for those under your care." This hadith reminds us that everyday educational leader is accountable not only for organization performance but also for the well-being and development of the people they serve. Throughout our interview, we observed that Dr. Hayati leadership reflects several important Islamic values. Her commitment to continuous improvement demonstrates ihsan, which encourages Muslims to strive for excellence in every responsibility. Her practice of gathering feedback, consulting college, and making evidence-based decisions reflect the principle of shura, where consultation leads to wiser and fairer decisions.
I also recognize the relevance of Surah Al-Asr, which reminds believers that success depends on using time wisely, performing righteous deeds, and remaining patient during challenges. Managing multiple responsibility requires discipline, perseverance, and trust in Allah. These Islamic principles strengthen our understanding that educational leadership is not merely a professional responsibility, but also a form of worship when carried out sincerely, ethically, and with the intention of benefiting others. As future educational administrators, we hope to uphold these values by leading with integrity, compassion, justice, and accountability in every decision we make.
In conclusion, our interview with Dr. Haryati Yaakob has provided us with a deeper understanding of what educational leadership truly means. We discovered that effective leadership extends far beyond teaching or administration alone. It requires strategic thinking, evidence-based decision-making, continuous learning, effective communication, and a genuine commitment to serving others. More importantly, this experience challenged many of our previous assumptions. Leadership is not defined by authority or position, but by one's ability to inspire, support, and positively influence to the educational community. As future educational administrators, we are inspired to become leaders who prioritize meaningful learning, empower educators, embrace innovation responsibly, and uphold strong Islamic values in every aspect of our professional practice. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to Dr. Haryati Yaakob for generously sharing her valuable experience, knowledge, and professional insights throughout this interview. Finally, thank you for watching. We hope this documentary has provided a meaningful understanding of educational leadership and inspired future educators.